everybody, welcome back to Stay Positive. Before I get into this episode, I just want to give a shout out to a new set addition, which is this adorable moss dog. For those of you just listening and not watching on video on YouTube, this moss dog is a dog made out of moss with a little succulent on its back. And it was a gift from the one and only Daniel Citron, who I had on the podcast a little bit ago, but he's my current housemate, and he contributed this wonderful dog. Look, I'm not an interior designer, so I feel like any help I can get with decoration is welcome. But I am looking for a name for this moss dog. What should I name it, So if you have any suggestions, I'm very open to it. So please email staypodsitive@gmail.com, name of the podcast @gmail.com, or DM me on Instagram, and maybe we'll find a new name in the next episode or two. Anyway, so guys, got a great guest on today. She's very inspirational. I think it'll be a really fun, different kind of podcast because she's in a field that's not just entertainment, which is kind of a lot of the friends that I interview. But anyway, she's amazing. If you don't know of it already, there's a company that she founded or co-founded and runs with her friend named Shiffon, Shiffon, which is a pinky ring essentially, and it's like beautiful jewelry that is kind of everyday wear or formal, and it's a spiral shape so you can adjust it yourself. And I have one. I really love it because it is very you could wear it all the time, but its mission is that it's supposed to be women uplifting women, and that's sort of the symbolism of the ring. And you'll one of the craziest things is she was in town basically for the Oscars because she was able to get her ring on Cynthia Erivo, on I think in the past on Nicole Kidman. Just all these really big stars are wearing this ring to kind of symbolize on the red carpet or receiving awards or just every day. Michelle Obama's worn it, just to show that, they are women uplifting other women. So it's a really cool mission statement. And they also use a lot of the profit money to then reinvest and, basically invest in female-led businesses that are startups or up and coming. So it puts its money where its mouth is while also just being a really cool ring to wear. So anyway, she's a founder, and I had met her because we went to the same school, but she was 3 years younger, and she's still a student, undergrad. And she's just killing it, being a real business owner and inspiring people like me to, be cool and do cool things and help other women. It's a lot of fun. So without further ado, one context thing, which was hilarious because she was in town for the Oscars to then get her rings on so many big celebrities and stuff, and she... and I really wanted to get her on the podcast before she went out of town, but she only had availability in the morning on Sunday. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do morning. And she could only do 6:30 a.m., which is a little before I get up on Sundays. So let's just say maybe I was a little bit not 100% awake. No, I think I did my best. I drank coffee and I was very present because she's an engaging human being. But I just want to warn you, it's a little bit different than our everyday podcast because it was early in the morning on Sunday. So that's what I do for this podcast. I wake up early because I want to get you guys good content. Okay. So now, and then I should say her name. Her name is Shilpa Yarlagadda. Look her up. She's amazing. And listen to this podcast. Thanks. Okay. Hi, Shilpa. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Oh my gosh,
so this is Stay Positive. So you got your name here and your little Instagram. I know you're trying to Instagram more, so that's very exciting.
Yeah, it's very amusing.
But you're in Los Angeles for a lot of reasons, but especially for Shiffon, which you run, and it's the Oscars. So we're going to be seeing a lot of rings tomorrow, or today, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Today's the big day.
Yeah.
But so what's it been like? I guess give us a little summary of what it's been like here and what you're doing and exciting things.
I'm in LA right now because for February we have a partnership with Reframe where we're actually donating 50% of our profits to bridge gender parity in the entertainment industry. And it's really exciting because the 90-second Oscar producers, Stephanie and Lynette, are actually wearing our pinky rings, helped us kind of launch this movement as Reframe ambassadors. And they're putting on the whole entire Oscars event today and urging nominees and other people to wear it. So I feel like we'll see a couple pinky rings out there.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I mean, so I remember meeting you in college. You were a freshman when I think I was a senior. Is that probably right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so obviously stand-up comedy, very different than what you're working on right now. But I remember you being like super enthusiastic about stand-up comedy, and then I saw you do it, and you like would kill, and it'd be so funny. And then and then I think like, you know, kind of would start to see like on Facebook and things like, oh, okay, yeah, Shilpa's working on like this jewelry thing, and like I didn't know anything really much about it at the time.
Then, so.
Okay, yeah, I think it was like after I graduated, and then I kind of saw you post about it, but then it just like blew up because a couple things. I think I remember you posting about like Emma Watson wearing it, and then just like big names, and then Nicole Kidman, that was a big one, with Big Little Lies when they went to the Emmys and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's like cute, because it's like, it's very cool because I think it's like a pinky ring. Oh, and I have one, by the way. I love mine. It's very great. It's like, I should have worn it, but I have it in my drawer over there. Anyway, but yeah, what's kind of fun is it's like, I don't really, it's not normally a place where anybody wears rings, I guess, so it's kind of cool because it stands out in a way, but it's like not, it doesn't clash with an outfit to stand out, but it is like, oh, what is that? I think it would cause conversation more so than like other types of rings where you're just like, oh, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember talking to you last time you were here about like how you like started it, and you're just starting it on your, you took a year off from school, and like I think you had started it then, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, what was that like? Yeah,
it was so random. I had like a head injury, and so I was like, oh, like I should probably take time off school to recover from this. And then in the process, I guess, like I started thinking about the jewelry industry and how it is such a big industry, and like the luxury market has like really high margins, and I was wondering why people don't do anything with social impact with it, because there's so many problems in the world today that like our generation's gonna have to face, and the next generation's gonna have to face, and I really want to do something I know to make a difference. And I thought if we could go direct to consumer and get rid of everything that the retailer is typically taking, and lower the cost to the consumer and still donate 50%, that could make a really big difference. So
cool, yeah.
That's kind of how the idea came about.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's like a big, like, because, so then did you think about what kind of, like, were you big into jewelry before, or is it just sort of like you just saw an opportunity with like the margins and was like, this is a fun thing, or like, I guess you have to kind of know something about it.
Jewelry. I think like growing up in Indian culture, like for parties and things, we always wore it, but I felt like some of that stuff was a little bit too extravagant and like more like in line with typical like all diamond necklaces you would see in the red carpet, that I wanted something that you could wear with that type of jewelry that like my parents and relatives would wear to parties, but could still be something that was everyday. So jewelry has always been something that I love. Like I think, fashion is interesting, but I think jewelry, it's cool because like even if it's like 200 years old, the piece of jewelry, you could just polish it, it looks brand new again. People are still searching for like treasures underwater. Like gold is like not made on Titanic. Earth. And gold is like not made on Earth, so it's just very precious material. And I thought it could be very cool to like do something in jewelry. I just never thought I would be the one to do it because it was unrelated to what I'm studying, and also just, I don't know, I think I had no experience. I didn't know how to make it or anything when I started, but I think once I realized that there could be margins that we could use for something powerful to really help women, and people anyways invest in jewelry, it would be cool to use jewelry to actually invest in women.
Yeah, ooh, I like that. I mean, also when you're saying gold's not made on Earth, I was like, oh my God, is it made on a different planet? But I guess like, it's a precious metal.
It's an element.
We mine for it. What? How do we? I guess so.
Yeah, we do. And it's crazy because like I guess like with diamonds now, there's like lab grown diamonds. There's ways you can create it, but with gold you can't. Like, I mean, you can, but it's not. It's so hard and it's so expensive. It's not worth it.
I see. Interesting. Yeah, cool. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, I do comedy writing and working in like entertainment and stuff, and it's like so much better now than it was, and like I get to benefit from women before me who like paved the way essentially. But even still, it's not, it's not great as far as like it's pretty male dominated, or there's still some biases, all the fun stuff that exists. So it's like, what's it like seeing, I think now, especially with the Oscars, like people were pretty upset because like no women were nominated for director, all these things that we're seeing at the tail end. But it's sort of like, it does have to start somewhere, and I think that's what's kind of exciting about what you're talking about. It's like, sure, at the end when we were like watching the Oscars, which is sometimes the pinnacle of people's careers, sure, then we're seeing all this like gender disparity.
Yeah.
But then in reality, it's like, okay, it's because, you know, we can't just fix it at the end of the road. We have to, like, you know, build people up from the beginning so that they have the body of work where then they're making the next big film or whatever, right? So it's like this whole thing that now the conversation's happening. So then it's like, okay, how do we, like, figure it out early on so that this doesn't happen next year or, you know, a few years from now. Honestly, it's going to take a while. But, yeah, I don't know, like, I guess, and then the same thing in business too, I suppose, but, you know, that whenever they come out with, like, lists, it might be like, oh, all these CEOs and, like, they're all kind of white dudes, but, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. But I don't know, so you're doing work for it, actually, like, you're putting pen to paper, which is really cool, but, like, what sort of things do you what's your advice to, like, the young women of the world who are, like, thinking about business or thinking about just, like, general career stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think just sometimes it's so easy to have an idea and just not do anything about it. Like, I've done that so many times.
Sure.
And I think it's like, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I, like, started this? And then, like, I just, like, still think about it a month later.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah, go back to
like,
sleep, imagine, have dreams, and that's all important. Like, everyone should dream and imagine. But I think, like, you know, it's never going to be easy, but I think you just have to take the first step, and sometimes when you're getting started you don't even know how hard it is, and that's a huge advantage. So, like, when I started, like, Shiffon, I googled how to make jewelry, actually, and I was like, oh, the 6 steps, like, WikiHow, I'll figure this out.
Did you have to get, like, a hot oven where you
I tried to, like, at one point with a couple friends, like, on the team, we tried to make it ourselves, and it did not look good, and that's when we went to the professionals.
You're, like, smelting iron.
Oh my god, yeah, it was just really not a good experience. I was like, nobody will buy this piece of jewelry.
Sure, you know, it's a prototype. Right?
Yes, but I think all of it was a great learning experience where I think, even though I had no clue what I was doing, just getting started with, like, even though it was so out of my realm, being like, I'm gonna, like, read this WikiHow, I'm gonna take a class, like, see how to make jewelry, like, add people on LinkedIn, email people in the industry, see how they did it, like, see if they have advice for me. And then I think all of that, like, moral support you build by kind of, like, taking action and getting advice from people, I think, like, just propels you to, like, move forward.
Cool.
So I think that's what really helped me. So I think, if anyone has ideas, they should just take action. And it's like, it might not be your first idea that takes off, but it's cool to, like, learn.
Cool. Yeah. So, like, you took clear, like, I'm gonna take a class or, like, make the thing physically, even if, like, now you're more on the, obviously, like, you're not in the kiln, like, I don't know.
No, we showed up to, like, MIT at the very beginning because we found out they had, like, a material science department. We went to this professor who taught, like, a jewelry making course, and we're like, so, like, we want to learn how to make jewelry, like, and learn everything. And that was the only person we knew who we thought could help us. But it, like, you know, we just, like, learned so much from the process. Like, I think it put us on a path to figure everything out about the industry.
No, I mean, also, like, the initiative to go and, like, seek out, even if that person's not, like, the right person, you know, right? And it's also hard to pull yourself out of, like, the local area. Like, not that MIT's that far, but I would say, you know, if you're at a school and then you'd think, like, oh, hopefully there's somebody here that would know this, and then you find out, oh no, it's actually not here, and then a lot of people would give up at that point, you know. They'd be like, okay, I guess what else can I do, you know, which is fine, but, like, it's cool that you, like, went the extra mile and, like, went to another school to find the person to do the
because Harvard, like, I really felt like we did not have the resources to make jewelry, and, like,
what the fuck are we?
I know,
like, come on, you guys, get a jewelry department
compared to MIT. So I was like, okay, we should just go to MIT. They have better 3D printers.
That's so funny. I remember a kid coming in. So I did that I was a FAP proctor, which is, like, the freshman arts program or whatever. And so there was a kid who came in as a freshman, and he was, like, very into, like, metal. Wait, what does that even mean? He was into, like, swordsmithing, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or is that right? I think he was, like, into building things. So he was kind of like, if you're working in theater, maybe he'd be, like, the guy who makes the sets, you know?
Okay.
And so he was really into swordsmithing, and he was like, hey, like, he was like, hey, you guys, I gotta go, like, make a sword. And we're like, I don't think you can make a sword right now.
How do you make swords?
He was like, no, I know, I already did the research. He's like, there's a printer, or, like, there's like a thing in the one of the VES buildings, the Carpenter Center is called. He was like, oh, there's something in there, I can go make a sword. I'm like, okay, I think I have to, like, supervise you, and I'm not gonna be able to save you if you
We tried to do this for the FAP program.
Yeah, isn't that aggressive?
Yeah, that's so
it's so
ambitious.
funny. I know,
Yeah.
very ambitious. I mean, everyone's coming in hot. Like, I'm a freshman, I gotta make a sword.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was, I don't think he ended up making a sword, but I didn't mean to crush his dreams. I just was like, yeah, I think we want to, like, stay in this building because we don't have, like, the capabilities to get into that other building at this time. But, yeah, do it, like, when you're a student. But this is, like, early. Anyway, so, yeah, it's cool. I mean, people figure out how to make their thing. That's amazing. But yeah, I would say, okay. I wanted to ask you about LinkedIn because I remember also talking to you about the fact that like you found LinkedIn as like a source. And I had literally just talked about LinkedIn with another guest, which is so funny because I think it's like, I don't use it at all. So it like fascinates me because I'm like, entertainment industry, not huge in LinkedIn. So it doesn't really have as much of the pull as I would say maybe like business does. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know anyone except people from high school I went to school with.
Nice, good
and
connections.
And people I met in college. So I was like, anyone is valuable to me.
Please add me. Yeah, but also just like the fact that, because I think you were talking about the fact that like you were on your year off and then you were like realizing that you could use LinkedIn and then that would prevent like a Google search if you want to talk about that
Google
situation.
Search, yeah. So, yeah, I don't even know how this happened because the article recently got taken down. But, like, I think it was before my freshman year at Harvard. Like, someone just decided to write an article about me, like, anonymously saying, like, how to become a Harvard dropout without getting into Harvard. And they, like, cited me as a case of, like, not going to Harvard and pretending to go there or something. It was really, I don't know.
So awful.
Yeah.
But was somebody from, you think, high school?
That's what, like, people say, but, like, I really...
But it was anonymous.
It's anonymous, so how can you tell, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know anyone had a vendetta against me. But,
Jesus.
Yeah, but there was lots of typos in the article, but...
Yeah, fuck that person.
At least they compared me to, like, Bill Gates, but, like...
Oh, okay. But
because
then
he was a
still
dropout.
the
But,
same.
yeah, but in a, like... Yeah, but no. But I think it was still, like, a very, like, negative piece.
So
and,
weird.
like, honestly, I was, like, pretty sad about it because I was so young when it happened. And I was like, oh, my gosh, people hate me. Like, cry. Like, you know, and then... It did start to, and it started to, like, affect me, like, even when I interned at Microsoft, like, people would, like, Google me, and it was, like, because it was, like, a blog post article, I guess it was the first thing on Google search that, like, people would read it and, like, think I, like, was pretending to go to school at Harvard or something.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh, my God, it's so hard for me to
news.
connect with, Yes, exactly. So I think I was like, oh my God, like, I'm the most unhireable person right now. Like, people will be like, oh, like, got an email from Shilpa. What does Shilpa do? Let me Google her, find this, and then be sketched out. So, in fake news, people still believe it. So that's kind of when I was like, okay, I really want to start this business, but I can't even network or get connected to people because I just have a terrible online profile.
For sure,
against my will, and I tried to get it taken down, and it just nobody would do it. So that's why I added people on LinkedIn, because usually when you add people on LinkedIn, they don't Google you.
Yeah, because all the information's right there.
Yeah, and then I think by the time they met me, they realized I was actually a student, and I was trying to email them from my Harvard email address just to make sure.
I mean, like, listen.
In case they found it, you know. But now the article is taken down. I think it got taken down just recently, which is crazy. But
okay, awesome. Yeah, but also you're like crowding it out with like your own true news. What is it? Real news? Fake? What's the opposite?
Yeah, I guess like things about Shiffon where people know I'm not making up that. But
right.
But yeah, so I think I almost did it out of like after 2 years of like having the internet, like people I probably don't even know Googling me and knowing thinking I didn't go to school at Harvard. I was like, okay, like, I'm just going to add people on LinkedIn because otherwise, like, it's so hard for me to just meet people outside of my space. And that really worked for me because I would just send a short message and, like, get connected to people in completely different spaces and just learn. I just want to hear about their life and, like, how they got there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, like, what kinds of people, how would you reach out to people, like, because I feel like I still have the issue where, you know, have to have a reason or, you know, it seems
well,
like
I had no reason to reach out to them. Like, I would just, like, sit there in bed drinking tea, be like, wow, I'm so inspired by all these people I found on LinkedIn. Like, that's so cool they did this. So different from me. Let me add them. And then sometimes, like, before I could even send a message, they, like, add me back. My profile had, like, very little information on it. But I was like, oh, like, I have a smiling picture. Maybe it seems like I'm friendly.
Yeah, they like your smile.
Yeah, smiling. So I think it's, so it worked out. So I just, like, would then message them being like, hi, like I'm an undergrad, like I would love to just like learn a bit more about you. I think like you have a really inspiring career. I know it's very different than like what I've done, and I haven't done very much, but like I just would love to talk. And like most people were open to talking, and then during the call, like they'd be like, what do you want to do? And even before I started Shiffon, sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'm like thinking about doing this, and I really want to build a jewelry company to support women, like and they just, I think, really loved the idea. And like this was like back in like early 2017, like end of 2016, like I hadn't even built the company, but just to hear that people were supportive of the concept was like really motivating for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, the fact that like you kind of already had a seed like going about what you wanted to do, but then also like that these kind of strangers who are legitimate strangers believed in it. It's really cool. But yeah, I like that. Well, also I like that you're just like reaching out to people and being curious about like, oh, give me advice, and being open to that, you know, because that's kind of, I feel like that can be tough, because it can be like, oh, well, I know what I'm doing. Nobody needs to give me any advice. That's kind of the mindset that I can find myself in sometimes. I'm like, I'm fine, it's fine, you know, or like they won't understand because it's so specific or something, right? Like just being open to advice is really good.
I feel like I'm very random, so like for me, I just kind of am like, oh, there's no real intention behind this, but like I think sometimes just curiosity. I'm like, well, every person has like an interesting story, and like sometimes the connections that are like the strongest ones I've made so far are the ones that were just the most random. Like I was like, just like, why did I add this person? Oh, they just seem so different from me. But those are like the people who like turned out to sometimes be like the coolest and like the most collaborative too, which is really exciting.
Yeah. That's kind of rare, because like you typically would think mentors within your field or like kind of like, oh, I want to be like you in 10 years, you know? But yeah, like randomly different people.
Just like so random.
Just like going around, bopping around LinkedIn, finding some randos. I love it. That's great. Okay. So then I also wanted to talk about the one thing that we talked about last time too, that we talked was the like playing hard to get in business stuff, which is so funny because it's very counterintuitive, but also like I love to tell people that story, because I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of important in fields where people are like kind of thirsty, you know? Like entertainment, people tend to be kind of thirsty. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, elaborate on what I said, I guess, because I'm not giving a lot of context.
I mean, I guess I'm trying to like think back. I mean, I think we've always just had like kind of a vision of like, this is what like Shiffon represents, and these would be like the ideal people we want to get involved in it, and like really stick to that. Like I think sometimes people try to go too fast. Like, you know, people are always like, wow, like you've gotten so many celebrities, like do you want to get this famous person? And it's like, we're not trying to just get famous people for the sake of famous people. So I think kind of like being very much like, we are very in line with what we do, like, you know, and really, even though we were so small, it's like kind of like people are like, why are you not like taking all these opportunities? And it's like, well, we'd love to talk. It's just like, I think like keeping things slow paced, like sometimes people respect that, but like still having all the conversations. And like, I think something I love to do is like, because so many mentors like helped me, like I think it's always, and like, you know, would be like my hype woman, I want to kind of be theirs. And I think like to be able to hype someone up, but like still be a little bit hard to get, in the sense that like, they're not just gonna like take any opportunity. And I think sometimes when people are looking to do something, they're like, anything is good. But I think sometimes when you like hold your ground, the right thing will come. But still like being open to talking to everybody.
Not shutting the door completely kind of thing. Yeah, that's tough, because like, you know, I think especially now when everyone like wants to move super fast, and like, you know, it's very easy to see too when people get things, you know, or whatever, and you're like, oh, you know, you could see that on social media or something, you're like, oh, okay, then you know, maybe I should be open to that too, because that's even a possibility. But like in your own head, I think it's like, oh, I actually just want to do like what it's like. Okay, so for me, it's sort of this thing where it's like, okay, I started in stand-up comedy, so I kind of was like, oh, all I want to do is stand-up comedy, and then it's kind of like, oh wait, I could do writing. Okay, maybe I'll do that, you know, which is great, and I'm happy to be doing it. But I think that like, you know, there's definitely a thing where you could then be like, oh, whoa, that person's doing like books and children's books, or you know, and then you kind of get distracted. So I think it's good to like have a very clear point of view and not get too enticed by like everyone who comes your way, I guess. Even though I think it's like a tough balance, because then there's like people that are like, well, you got to say yes to everything, and be open to meeting everyone, because you never know who's gonna be the next person.
It's always great to like meet everyone just because there's something to learn, but like I think the right opportunities and the right people will see like that when you do hold your ground and you are like hard to get and you're selective, that like they want to be with people who know what like the right fit is. So I think like still being helpful, but reaching out is like good. Like I tried to like they take things slowly, things. But it's worked for me. I think like there's so many ways to go about it. Yeah.
Cool. No, that's unique, and I think like especially because it's worked. Like you've worked with like obviously a lot of the names that I said earlier. Or like I feel like last time you said Mindy Kaling too, maybe. Was that?
I don't know.
Or maybe Mindy Kaling, stylist. Lots of stylists.
Yeah, lots of stylists. Okay, yeah.
But and then Michelle Obama. There we go.
Yeah,
Michelle. That's a good name. Yeah. But yeah, I guess because it's like actually worked, then it's like people. Then I'm more like, oh, okay. So what did you do? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the funny thing is like at the end of the day, even if we don't really know what, like if we weren't sure if it was going to work or not, then the minute it works, you're like, oh, okay, so I guess that was right, but then maybe it might not work for the next guy, but that's right. But yeah, so wait, Michelle Obama, what was the story with that? It's like she just bought your ring and like you guys hadn't even
so her, so now I'm really good friends with Meredith Coop, who I just think is so inspiring, and like she'd been styling Michelle like the whole time in the office, and like she's just so funny. Like, honestly, like, that's why I was like, oh my God, she needs to meet you, because she loves stand-up comedy. It's just hilarious.
I want to meet up with her.
She's great. So, I think we had, like, met her, like, once and, like, told her about the ring. And I think for the longest time, like, it was, like, nobody really, like, knew about her. But then there was this, like, huge, like, New York Times article being like, this is the woman behind, Michelle's looks. And, like, this is, like, the story. And it was incredible. Awesome. And we had met her kind of right before I think that story had like come out through like a photographer who was helping us that like knew someone at her agency, and we met her and she was like, I love the ring, she bought one, and then one day we just like watched Jimmy Fallon, and we saw like Michelle wearing the ring, and then
on TV.
Yeah, on TV, okay, and it was awesome because it was like for her book tour. And then I remember someone in 2019 asked me like, oh, is anyone wearing your ring to the Grammys? And I was like, no, I have a midterm tomorrow, so like I didn't like reach out to anybody.
I'm a student.
But I was like, but like Cynthia Erivo has like been wearing our rings all the time, and like
nice.
So I was like, she wore it to the Grammys that year, and then Michelle, I don't think anyone even knew she was going to the Grammys.
Oh, right, yeah.
But then she just showed up, and someone sent me a screenshot being like, hey, she wore a different pinky ring and put your pinky ring on top of it. And then I was like, wow, like, it's awesome that the ring is just so, it looks so distinct when people wear it, that, like, people just knew. And
like, oh, yeah, she is. Yeah, it's very distinct. That's awesome.
And it's specifically, like, on the pinky.
Right, so you know where to look. You're like, I know where to look. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because pinky is a small finger, but, like, when you think about it, it's, like, if people are holding their awards and stuff, honestly, you don't see the thumb, and you don't really see, like, if you're
good thing you didn't do thumb rings, man.
Yeah, like, because if you're, like, holding a bigger ring, it's, like, on the side profile, it's not visible, but the pinky gets the most attention. So it's funny, because people don't, like, I think for the longest time, like, have not really, like, given the pinky enough attention.
Oh my God, Shilpa, you nailed that pinky. You got that pinky. Real estate. Prime real estate. But yeah, no, that's so true. So yeah, it's perfect for awards. When you're holding your Oscar, you got a chiffon ring on. No big deal. Yeah, that's so smart. I love it. Yeah, because I think it's also like a thing where, I think obviously the ring finger, people might already have that occupied.
Yeah.
But
I'm not trying to propose.
Yeah. You're not trying to take anyone's like pride diamond thing away or whatever ring marriage thing. But yeah, so then the pinky, it's like kind of good open real estate where people are like, yeah, of course, why not add?
And it's the smallest finger. It's really cute. I feel like it reminds me of how everyone loved Pluto before the whole Pluto had to get removed.
Oh my God, it's so sad.
I'm like, that's like the pinky for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's like getting your pinky amputated.
Yeah, and because it's adjustable and it fits like any size pinky.
The adjustable.
Anyone can fit into it, which I think is great. So we've had like Kofi Annan, like Serena Williams, just a lot of people wear it. And it's cool because, like, the pinky being the littlest finger as an adjustable ring, it's, like, the largest pinky in the world and the smallest pinky in the world are not going to be as, like, large of a difference as, like, the largest thumb in the world.
Sure, yeah. The variance is small.
Yeah, so it's okay to make it adjustable.
Big fat pinky or tiny little skinny pinky.
And it looks good on both, so.
Yeah, that's what I like about it, too, is because I don't think I ever fit any rings. So it's sort of a thing where it's like, I guess you can go get it adjusted or whatever, but this is perfect because you can do it yourself. And it has the instructions, so you're like not worried you're going to break it or something. But yeah, it is nice because I realize that's probably why I don't wear a lot of rings. Because it's like, I think just, little skinny bone fingers here. It's like, it doesn't really, nothing really fits.
Yeah.
Unless it's adjustable. So that's really big. But that's so exciting. Yeah. So just like casually getting your ring on the Grammys and things like that. But yeah, so I think she was nominated for like her book, right? It was like her Audible or whatever audiobook.
Yeah, I think so, which is exciting. And Cynthia Erivo is nominated for Best Actress and for Best Song, and she's performing, so
very cool. Yeah, so her song. Did you know Joshua Campbell at all? He's my year.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wrote the song, I think, with her, with Cynthia.
Oh, wow.
Erivo, sorry. And then
I'm trying to, maybe I did. I wonder if he was in my playwriting class or something.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Well, he probably, at least overlapped for a year in the same that I did. But yeah. Anyway, so pretty amazing. It's also a really great. I hope it wins. I hope it wins.
I hope it wins.
So fun. It's
and she would become an EGOT too, which is crazy because she's won a Tony and a Grammy already. And she's and she's the third actress ever, I think, to be nominated for both Best Actress and Best Song.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the same year.
Yeah, that is really crazy.
Yeah,
so she's like very
so
musical. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
because I only knew acting, obviously. Because and then I just see her. I'm watching The Outsider on HBO, which she's in.
Yes, my roommate was watching it and was like, "Is that Cynthia? Yeah. Is that the Cynthia that wore your ring?" And I was like, "Yes." And then they're like, "She's so talented." And I'm like, "I'm so happy for her that
that's so cool.
She's starting to blow up even more."
Yeah, because it's kind of fun when they're in multiple things at the same time and it comes out kind of around the same, because then you're kind of like seeing their face everywhere, and then people think, talk about it more, and then maybe get more, buzz. I don't know how that works. But that's so exciting. Okay, cool. Yeah, but I listened to Michelle Obama's book because I was like, ooh, I'm going to try audiobooks now, which I really enjoyed. I used to think I couldn't do audiobooks because it's hard to follow. And then I would be like, oh, I zoned out. I need to rewind. What?
Yeah.
Instead of flipping the page or whatever. But I would say nonfiction audiobooks I'm okay with. Fiction is kind of hard.
Yeah, nonfiction audiobooks I think are becoming really popular.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a podcast, I guess. Yeah. Here we are. But yeah, and I remember her talking about her having to have a stylist and thinking about what that meant, because it's you don't really think about it, but it's of course the first lady gets seen all the time, and there's sort of the standard of she has to look good, and so of course there has to be multiple people involved in that, hair, all the things, but people don't really think about that because it's sort of a given, or it just seems maybe it's going to be a superfluous spending thing if you're worried about that, so yeah, it's cool to take that and then be oh yeah, this is the person who Shilpa worked with. Very cool. But yeah, it's definitely I think with learning more about style and fashion and stuff, I feel I didn't know too much about it, and what goes into it, and so it's fun learning through you so it's there's these stylists and
oh my gosh, I didn't even know stylists were a thing until a couple years ago. I was just wow, oh my god, thank God for the internet, can Google everything.
Yeah, and then the fact that they kind of are these gatekeepers to what gets seen is kind of interesting.
Yeah, because they're really taste makers. I think they kind of look at everything. They go to New York Fashion Week shows, see all the collections. They collaborate with designers that and they also understand what people actually want to wear. That I was if I'm gonna trust somebody's taste, I really want to get advice from someone who's a stylist that I really love their aesthetic, and Sarah Slutsky was one of my first mentors, and she had styled Emma Watson. I just loved what she was doing, and I think I loved in particular what she was doing with jewelry, because it was very I feel Chiffon's aesthetic is you should be able to wear it on a red carpet, you should be able to mix it with really high-end jewelry, but it should also be something you feel comfortable wearing every day. So that was one stylist I felt really got that right mix of everyday but still red carpet with a lot of the looks.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Now she's our creative director.
Oh, okay. Congrats. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that is true. It does go well with both, and I think that's probably it's good that there's versatility. Otherwise, it would be hard to appeal to both ends. But yeah, that's so fun. Then I guess with all that stuff too, how do you reach out to people like that? Because I feel it can be maybe, do you feel they get inundated with
they get so many emails, and I've definitely been there where people were not responding to me, and I think I just learned you have to keep it really short, your emails. Like, I would, like, used to be like, oh my gosh, I, like, love you for this reason and this reason and this reason, and I'm, like, doing this and this, and I was like, oh my god, they're never going to read that. So,
they're like, heard it before.
Yeah.
I know you love
so
me in that
something
thing.
short. Like, I heard mystery makes history, so, like, just, if it's short.
Mystery makes history.
Yeah, so I was like, if it's short, but kind of mysterious, maybe they have incentive to respond. Like, don't give them everything all at once. But, explain who you are, like what you're doing a little bit.
Yeah. Not just like
don't be completely like an enigma.
Yeah, like the upside down face emoji and then send.
Yeah.
Mystery. Wow, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that is the case, I think, a lot for, like, you know, on the smaller scale and, like, comedy shows or something, people pitching themselves to, you know, submitting themselves to perform or something. You're kind of like, you know, you just need, like, who you are, and then your credits, if you have TV credits or something, and then, like, a clip. And, like, that's pretty great. Otherwise, if it gets a little too long, then it seems like they're trying to make up for something that's not there, you know. But for sure, that is, like, yeah. And then especially going through so many emails, I think people appreciate probably the brevity.
And just don't bury the lead.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Yeah, I remember hearing that for the first time, like, within a couple weeks, because I was, like, when I first moved out here, I think I was interviewing for a job, and it was, like, a writer's assistant gig, so that means you're, like, in the writer's room, but you're, like, taking notes and stuff. And both... I think I heard that on, I heard it from one of my interviewers, and who has since, like, I worked with her at the end of the day, but, like, it was so funny because she was like, oh, you buried the lead, like, just, like, talking about, oh, so what are you up to, or what do you do, or, like, what have you done, and I would kind of, like, you know, was used to speaking in a way that I think was, like, kind of trying to be humble, or, like, trying to kind of, you know, not be braggy or whatever, but then, like, I realize now that just kind of wastes people's time. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just, I don't know if you ever felt this way, but I feel like sometimes with, you know, maybe, well, I'm sure you do because you are very accomplished, and I feel like, you know, sometimes you kind of, I at least would feel like, oh, I don't know if I need to, like, say everything up front if it's not relevant, you know, of what you're up to or something, because of just not wanting to, like, take up space, or just feeling like, ooh, are they going to think that I think that I'm great or something, which I don't, so I don't want to give off that impression.
No,
you know?
I totally understand. I mean, that's why I've never posted on, like, Instagram for, like, years.
That's
but, like, but I think in emails, I did still, like, mention, like if Nicole wore the ring, like, I mentioned that too.
And that's also, like,
people,
very
if they
true.
would ask. Yeah, exactly. And I send them the picture.
Yeah,
you know,
and that'll
because,
hopefully convince them.
Yeah, just so people know. I think I usually would have been like, oh, I don't want to, like, talk about myself or whatever, but I was like, but I'm not really talking about myself because I'm just talking about the company, so I think that made it a little bit easier for me. And then I think it just had such a strong mission that I was like, I need to, like, give it its best shot, and, like, because we're students, people might not take us seriously. That, like, I want them to know that we're legit, like, people
that's awesome.
Whereas they think we're real jewelry, and we are, but, like, I think at a certain point I was like very I didn't want people to know that this company was run by students, that, like, when people initially were writing about it, I was like, don't tell them you go to school, because that's bad.
Because I guess it just makes it clear that you guys are very young, but it can be
inexperienced.
Great.
I thought. Like, which early on I think people were kind of like, you just, like, go to school, and, like, it's not like I went to design school, and then when I told them, like, I want to do computer science and economics, they're just like, and how does that relate to your field now? And I'm like, it doesn't.
Yeah. You're like, next question. No, okay, I see. Yeah, that's pretty interesting because, I guess the fact that, like, that can be really cool too, though, because then that becomes part of your story, or Shiffon's story now, right? Now that people know. But, like, I could see initially.
Now people think it's cool. They're like, oh, like, you figured this out as a student? And I'm like, yeah, and now people accept it because I think we've built the credibility and brand trust. But I think, it has become a part of our story, because I guess it's not as common for students to, like, be making jewelry companies from, like, schools that design schools, I guess.
Right, no, definitely not. Yeah, no, that's fun, though. I think it adds another, like, texture to the fact that you really want to do this, because you're willing to, like, you know, kind of step outside of what you're studying even to, like, do it, but also contributes. I don't know, do you feel like you learn things in computer science and economics, that helps.
Yeah, I mean, well, we built like all of the website and everything like on
Yeah.
our own, and I think like computer science, like as you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it relates to like everything, and it's such
Sure.
a good thing. Like I think I so love people who study like math, computer science, and then do something completely unrelated to it. It's like it's like a cool. It was so funny. Like even at the Women in Film party, like at the end of the night, there was these like really glamorous women, like, and it was like, oh my god, like they're so glamorous. Like maybe we shouldn't talk to them. And someone introduced us, and like I was with a girl on our team who just finished her data science masters, and it turned out these women like all studied like mathematics and like computer science, and now they're like in Hollywood, and they like told me they're like I was like they're like we're all for women studying like computer science and like STEM and then going into something completely different, and I was like that's so cool.
I wonder what that is, because it's like, well, at least for me it's sort of like it felt as if it was sort of a good backup plan, as like dark as that sounds, but you know, like people know computer science to be a very, you could get a job in tech, so that kind of helps, and it feels like a skill that people think is marketable, even though I think so many other skills are marketable but too. Like you know, so there's sort of that enticing factor, but also the fact that like, you know, I think what it kind of helped in, let's see, somewhat, is that it is again another like male dominated, eat the bread. I made toast, and so that's what we're referring to for those listening and can't see. But yeah, so I just feel like because it's another male-dominated field, it kind of helped prepare for like other, you know, living in the world.
And it's such a like, it's not an easy thing to pick up, that I think it teaches you so much, and I think everything, you know, relates to technology now, to just have an understanding is good. Yeah. We feel like, you know, maybe somebody can't pull the wool over our eyes more, you know, if they are more of a technical person. Toast is really good.
Oh, good.
Like,
it's
I've not had like toast with jam. I think I've eaten like jam and toast like 3 times in my life.
Is this your 3rd time or your 4th time then?
4th.
Oh, wow. It's exciting.
I just never.
Very simple. You're like looking at it like a picture. You're like, how would will the jam read today? I think it's a simple breakfast. I love to get your vibe. It's kind of nice because I don't have to like light stuff, like, you know, fruit. Feel free to have some blueberries, and stuff in the morning. And so, you know, if I do, then it's kind of an easy fix. But I love sourdough, which is what that is. Big sourdough fan here.
The jam is like, it's so hard to tell.
Yeah, I mean, that bread too, that specific sourdough brand that I got there is like pretty mild. It's not like super sour sourdough, which is also,
I really am a fan.
Sweet. I'm happy that, I just threw it together. It's nothing.
It's there. Just feel it.
But yeah, you know, love a toast and jam. I feel like, I like sourdough in the morn. And so I just tend to get that. And I hear like sourdough bread's not too bad for you, even though technically you're supposed to have like whole wheat, whatever people say. But like, honestly, sourdough sounds great. And I think it's somewhat good for you. I don't know anything about bread. Actually, though, my friend who's staying with me, his friend sent him, and so therefore me, a bread that she made herself. Okay. I have a few friends that are like really into like making bread from scratch, which is intense. It's
I really admire those people. I have never done it, but
I mean, I don't think, that's the thing. Some of these things I'm like, you know, maybe it's like the rings. You're like, I mean, maybe try it once, but like somebody's better at it, and I'll just buy their bread or ring, right? But yeah, I feel like making bread feels very like back to our roots as humans.
Yeah, my dad once tried to make it, and I didn't like it, so I started buying bread again.
I mean, you tried, you know. I'm sure you gave it a chance.
I'm sure it was like, it just looked like a bundt cake or something.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, I don't think this is how bread should be.
You want fully sliced, ready in the bag bread. That's what I'm all about too. I would say so. There was one bread that I got. I'm glad we're talking about bread too. It's an important topic. There's this really like kind of kind of a organic market. You know how there's like Whole Foods, so it's kind of like that, but like maybe even more crazy. Like they had lots of bone broth, you know, that kind of thing. And they had garlic sourdough, meaning they like baked garlic cloves into the bread. It was amazing. I mean, I love garlic. I'm all about it. So
Same.
that's part of the reason why it was so good. But anyway, yeah. Back to the fun talk. I'll check. Actually, I should check the time. Make sure that it's 8:02. Just letting you know. Make sure no stylists are banging down your door to go dress the celebs.
Okay. Thanks so funny. No, it's all good. I think Cynthia Riva's stylist is just happy that we all have matching rings.
Oh wow!
They sent a squad gift.
Squad, amazing.
That's good.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
When you get a squad gift, you know you're in. I do say, I just said GIF. I say GIF typically. Do you say GIF?
Oh my god, did I make a mistake?
No, I mean, listen, I'm very okay with either way. I just think
Isn't
that
the company
I would
that
say-
makes the GIFs or the GIFs called? Is it Jiffy or Giphy?
Yeah.
I thought Jiffy was Jiffy Lube, like. And
Yeah,
it was
or
Giphy.
Jiffy peanut butter even. That's another
Oh.
Jiffy. Yeah, I think so. Jiffy. But yeah, you're right. I don't know. I mean,
You might
it's
be more right.
Giphy. Is that one that I go on?
I wonder how
look
they came
for a
up with
GIF
that
or
name
GIF?
for the GIFs or the GIFs.
So like I think it's a extension of a file, right? So it's like now we get into computer science
yeah,
or
that's
like
true.
friends, but yeah, so I think it's like graphics interchange format or
That's
something,
true.
you know.
Yeah, you're right.
So technically, if you say that, graphics is hard, like GIF, right? But then I had heard that the founder of GIFs, I don't know how you found it, but like he was a creator of the first GIF, like called it a GIF. So then I'm like, okay, so then maybe we go by that.
Oh, okay. I think you know more than me.
Okay, so
I
yeah,
resort
like how
to
I bring
you.
up.
I'll start
this
calling
up
them
so
GIFs.
yeah.
I love GIFs.
Thank you for coming over to my side. No, I would say the one reason I am partial to GIF is because when I say GIF, I don't want people to think I mean gift, like present.
Oh yeah, I think people just get confused when I say things then. And I'm just like, oh.
No, I mean
that's
enough
adorable.
people say it that I think I should get over it. Anyway,
Yeah.
regardless, we can move on. I just think it's a
Yeah.
fun topic of debate because whenever somebody says it, I tend to be, people in a group tend to be like, "What do you say?" So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, what does Shilpa say?" So yeah, that's all I know about it. But it's fun. Okay, so the Oscars. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. Although, like, I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, like, now I just spend award shows staring at people's pinkies. Because sometimes, like, I was like, oh,
The
like, I used to
real.
just, like, watch it, eat popcorn, chill, do homework in between, just be random.
Right.
And now I'm like,
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
I know. You're
kind
like,
of-
wait, pause it.
get the images. And then just, like,
Yeah,
looking and just,
yeah, I
like,
get that.
pulling it up. So, no, but I'm really excited for, like, the performances, like, Frozen songs, Harriet
yeah,
songs,
yeah.
everything. So
Ooh,
it's
Frozen
exciting.
2 snubbed for the animated film. Did you hear about that?
Oh, at the Indie Spirit?
Oh, no.
No,
Just
where-
like it wasn't even nominated for Best Animated Film this year at the
Yeah.
Oscars. But song was nominated.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah,
Again,
and
I'm-
Dina's
I don't know if I
performing
care.
it too, so.
Okay, cool. Well, like,
Yeah.
that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
But like, just the fact that, like, it as a film wasn't nominated, people were upset.
Yeah. I
you
did
like
like the original Frozen a lot.
Yeah. Did you see the second one?
I haven't yet.
I saw it, and so here's the thing. I went with my sister, and we saw it at El Capitan Theater, which is out here in Hollywood, kind of. And it's like a Disney-owned thing, so they tend to play Disney movies, but now Disney owns everything, so basically
Yeah.
every movie. But I just forgot, sometimes when I go to animated movies, because I love to see animated films, I forget that, like, kids see them. So when you go, it's, like, packed with kids, all dressed as, like, Elsa and Anna. It's, like, so cute. But they're, like, complete disregard for, just, like, not talking during a film, which is so funny. Because the minute there's, like, a lull in the excitement of the action or something, everybody just starts talking, which is, like, so cute. But also it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot kids can be kids, and, like, me and my, like, grown, like, adult sister were both like, wait, what? We're like, I thought everybody just wanted to see this movie. Is it for kids, too? Like,
Yeah. That's so funny.
But yeah, that's fun. Do you have a favorite movie of the year that you're rooting for?
I mean, I watched Harriet and I really did
nice.
love it, and I thought.
I still actually haven't seen Harriet.
Yeah, I just recently watched it actually, but yeah, it is very, very good and very powerful. So I really liked that one, honestly. There's so many that I like still am like, I really want to like watch them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I thought The Farewell was also really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's interesting because there are so many movies nominated. There's always like 10 or something nominated.
Yeah, and
so
I'm
it's
like,
oh, I'm going to watch all this.
yeah, and my favorite thing about like I think Shiffon is it's now inspired me to watch more movies.
Yeah, cool.
Because when we started the company, like I didn't really know who was who or like what movies were there, because I got all my information from Disney Channel. So it's like if they weren't like Selena Gomez or
you're like,
Cyrus or Zac Efron, and some of them are really making it in Hollywood now, like Zendaya, you know.
Oh yeah, Zendaya doing well.
Yeah, doing well. Like I really think like all the people I watched in Disney Channel are doing really well.
I mean, they know how to pick these kids. They know who's going to be a big movie star.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. But yeah, so I got all my information from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nice that now I'm actually getting to be more cultured. Like my friends who actually are very into movies, like one of my blockmates from Harvard, she is now working at Warner Brothers, and she's kind of like, no, like watch this movie.
Oh,
like,
cool.
you know, these people have won the rings and they did this work, and I'm like, wow, like I really want to like support and like watch the work of these like women. So I'm like, that's been like something that I think is like new for me, is like watching all these things, like learning more about like, you know, the art of film, I guess.
No, I go the same way because I think I wasn't, like, though I like movies and I mainly watch TV, I think, and then now being in this world and being in Los Angeles and like you're friends with so many film buffs and people like that, so then they start talking about it and you feel like, oh god, I gotta contribute to the conversation, so I should probably watch that movie, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely have like the peer pressure now more than I did before.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny, but it's nice. Like I saw Parasite like alone.
Okay, I did not see that.
Oh
but
yeah, I know everybody's probably telling you to see it.
Yeah, and people think it might win.
Yeah, I think it's a front runner. Like I think 1917 is the other one that people really like, but I haven't seen that. It's like a World War I movie. Yeah. Anyway, it seems stressful. I'm like, I don't want to go to war. But yeah, with Parasite, I remember I was hearing so many people tell me to go watch it, and then I finally went. I think the day before Thanksgiving, I just went like I had the day off. So I went alone to one of these like kind of side theaters where they're still showing movies that have been out for a while, or like independent movies too. And I just went alone and I saw it, and it was like a really good experience. I was like, I gotta go see movies alone more, like random times during the day, because it's like if it's a good movie, it's like a great 2 hours spent, and then you get to like think about it later, you know. So yeah, that was one of the first times that I felt like I was like, oh, I'm seeing a movie that's like critically acclaimed, you know, alone in a theater. I'm so into this, you know. But yeah, it's a good movie. I do recommend.
I should definitely watch it.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, you know. It's out there. But yeah, I think people were interested or, you know, a little bit confused by the fact that that's like one of the only, well, there's other ones too, but that movie in particular didn't get any acting nominations, which kind of like makes some sort of sense, because sometimes the actors kind of have to have like this, have a history of like being in big US films, and this is like a foreign film, so like people don't necessarily think about those actors as much, but like they did a really great job, so I think some people were upset, but anyway, they won like some SAG award thing, so like the ensemble,
yeah, it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm learning so much more about kind of like award nominations and all of that, because I think it is so interesting like how powerful like, you know, a force like, you know, being nominated and like winning can be like in a career for a person and just for like people like them. So like I think, you know, the fact that there weren't as many women or like people of color was just, it is really interesting, and like I hope that changes.
Yeah, I mean like that's kind of the thing, I guess, that everybody thinks about with the Oscars now. It's like, oh, that's sort of again, it's like the end of people's sort of like the end goal for a lot of people, or not end goal, but, you know, top pinnacle of like, oh wow, what an honor, right? And so then when that kind of is garishly not diverse or just like looks kind of the same, you're like, I think something's wrong. Maybe not right at the Oscars, like everything there is, something's up to, but like just in the general, it reflects the general industry, and like the fact that, you know, if you can't make it there, then like there must be something going on in the middle, you know? But yeah, interesting. I think, but yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of what we were talking about, and then you obviously see the women who are trying to make change, and that's like really important because, you know, especially I think, I don't know, with director stuff, I think that's what's really
like we saw Lily Wang the other day. I like wish she was nominated.
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
so talented.
Yeah. It'll happen, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm sure it
the
will.
next movie,
Yes,
but yeah,
next
it's always, it's interesting. Because I've always thought of, like, I don't know how you think about these things, but, like, certain professions can feel kind of, like, masculine, you know what I mean? And I think director does feel that way to a lot of people. And so, and whatever that means to you, so does that mean that, like, if you're the one hiring the director, you're going to think, like, oh, that guy really fits this role of the director, but, like, you're not really thinking about the fact that, like, you might be biased because he's a dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't know enough about it, I guess, but it's always interesting to think about.
Yeah, and the thing is, it doesn't seem like there's, like, not many female directors out there. It just seems like none of them are being recognized
Sure,
as much.
right.
Because I think people are always like, oh, there should be, like, more women out there. But I feel like there are a lot of
There
great
are,
women
yeah.
who are out there.
Disproportionately, unrecognized, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting. Just always thinking about, like, because there's a lot of, like, programs now. What do you think about that kind of stuff? Like, there's a lot of, like, diversity programs and things like that where, like, trying to, like, help elevate maybe people
Yeah,
at an
I'm still,
earlier
like,
stage.
learning about it. But yeah, I think, like, you know, it is important, I think, to, like, I think there's so many women who've had opportunities who are doing great work that, like, should be recognized. And if they're recognized, that, you know, really is a statement that I think could move the industry more forward too. But at the same time, like, I think more women should be encouraged and feel like there are resources. And so much of it is, like, I think, at least I don't know as much about the film industry because it's not my industry,
But
like,
industry.
but still, I think in, like, any industry, if you don't see someone that, like, looks like you being represented, I think you're more discouraged to, like, go into it. You might not be as inspired to, like, consider it as a career. So, like, I think, you know, having more women getting recognition, getting credit for the great work they're doing, I think can really, like, inspire even more to, like, participate and, like, feel like they have that, like, support and, like, you know, other, like, female role models to, like, look up to.
Yeah, even thinking back to, like, what we're talking about with, like, STEM.
Yeah.
It's, like, there's a lot of, like, ads I see now, or, like, you know, concerted effort in media and stuff to be like, oh, and she can, actually there's, like, a billboard that was like, she can STEM, so can you, which, like, that's kind of patronizing, but but it's just funny because I think it's like, yeah, of course, like, if you do see somebody but that looks like you and then in the field, like, it does help, but I'm not sure, like, but okay, I know, I guess, like, did you have anybody growing up, like, I know you watch a lot of Disney Channel, but it's like, you know, was there anybody who stuck out in your mind as, like, oh, wow, that person looks like me, or something like that, even if they weren't exactly like you, but they had your essence or, like, kind of your vibe?
Not really, unfortunately. I don't know. I mean, now there's, like, more, like, I've obviously watched Priyanka Chopra in Bollywood movies, but now she's coming to Hollywood, but I don't think she, like, looks like me necessarily. I wish I looked like her. But
everyone's an amplified version in Hollywood.
No, but I still think it's amazing that, you know, we are seeing more, like, brown girls in Hollywood. But no, I didn't really see anyone, like, growing up. Like, I remember I wanted to buy an American Girl doll, and I just, like, got one that didn't even look like me, but I thought it, like, kind of convinced myself it looked like me, and, like, took it around, and then there were, like, so many people that didn't look like me who were my friends who also got the same doll because they thought it looked like them, and I was like, oh my god,
that's how you realized.
Like, that's how I realized. I was like, the doll looks most like not me, actually. But, like, you know,
that's like so sad but also hilarious.
So I guess, like, I was like, oh, like, I guess, like, I will just go into, like, computer science.
Yeah, you're like,
there's like more people who, like, look like me.
Sure, I mean, that kind of, I sometimes wonder if that's, like, you know, part of why I went into it, or maybe, like, at least it was less barrier of entry than other people. I don't know. But yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, we did, okay, because I did have, my sister had an American Girl doll, and they had, like, a real Chinese one, so, like, that actually kind of, like, made sense to us. We're like, yeah, you know, like, that was everything. It was like, I guess, you know, either it's, like, swinging really far to like,
so funny. I forget, like, I think mine was, like, one of the generic ones. I just remember I named it Iris because I thought it was such a pretty name.
Ooh, that is a pretty name.
Yeah, but now I, like, don't know, like, if I feel it anymore, and, like, I think my sister just took my American Girl doll, and it was just, like, it was just like, okay, I get it. Because there'd be, like, birthday parties where you'd read, like, a mystery, like, party, like, with the American Girl dolls.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, it was just so funny that so many people picked the same doll as me, and we all just thought it looked like ourselves, and we just looked nothing like each other. And then I think finally
really
one of the
funny.
moms at the party like told me, she's like, oh, like you have the same doll as like these other girls. Like, did you just like copy them? And I was like, no, I like thought it looks like me out of all of the dolls. And she's
my
like,
God.
no, it doesn't.
Oh my God, what a terrible mother I got. Like, Jesus. What is she saying?
Oh my God, I don't know.
What a heartbreaking story. But yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe it was just a very universal doll. You know, everybody kind of could see.
Like
You could
black
see
hair
yourself in. Yeah.
Straight hair. I don't
Exactly.
know. Yeah.
Well, I still like, anytime there's like kind of a brunette type, even if it's like clearly white girl, you're like, it's like, kind of close enough. You know what I mean? That's like what we are dealing with here. You know, it's like,
I was like, oh, there's like something. Like we have black hair.
Right.
Like maybe like a little bit closer skin tone than some other dolls. Like I don't know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So you're kind of, we take what we can get, I think is the case with representation. I know with, I was looking back at like watching some shows, and I feel like I was such a tomboy, and still kind of am, that like, I realized when I would rewatch shows or TV shows that I liked when I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, I had like a fascination with all the like tomboyish girls, or like kind of, if there wasn't like a girly girl and there was like more of a, a rough and tumble girl or something, because I played a lot of basketball and I really like to like run around and stuff outside. So I think I always gravitated towards that person, even though they maybe didn't look like me, but it was like definitely like, ooh, that's me, or like, oh, I loved it when like the girls would like play sports and win, and that kind of thing, because it just felt like, that's right, that's what I'm all about. But then I also realized, like, watching, I remember Lilo and Stitch, that being like really big.
Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, because she was also very like feisty little like animal child.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then now obviously there's tons of things. I was talking with somebody about the fact that like there's this new show called, or it's kind of new, it's been on for a while, but it's for like little babies, and it's called Doc Mcstuffins. Have you heard of that?
No.
I mean, obviously there's no reason why we would watch this.
I know, I
we have
really
babies.
Not heard of this.
Yeah, but it's on like one of those baby channels. So I
definitely am not watching that at the moment.
You don't know the baby channel? Yeah, and it's like a little doctor. It's like a baby that's a doctor, and it I don't even know. And it tends to animals, or stuffed animals. Okay, it tends to, that makes sense. Okay.
And does it talk to baby, or is it too young to say things?
Man, I don't know. I've never seen it.
Okay.
I'm just hearing the premise from someone. But I knew a friend's kid really loves it. But then at the end of the day, my point is that it's like, it's a little like black girl, and so it's like very cute that like she wears like a little what's it called, stethoscope and stuff, and so they're saying like, oh yeah, it's kind of cool because like this whole generation of little babies that love this very popular show will grow up being like, if you're a doctor, you're obviously African American, you know what I mean, like that's sort of like their vision of it. And like of course when we were growing up, mainly doctors you think on TV are like old white men, and she's like a like a baby female.
Yeah, it is interesting how much like I think I like only thought about this a year ago, but like how like the industry like affects everything, because it like affects people's perception of things. Like even if they're making a movie like The Social Network off of like Mark Zuckerberg, for all the people who, well, now we know a lot more about him than we did like maybe years ago.
Than we want to, honestly.
Yes, but like I think before all of that, like we just kind of were like, oh, The Social Network, and if you weren't in Silicon Valley, you really based a lot of information off the movies and off what you see.
Yeah,
and like think Harvard's like that,
Right. You're like, oh yeah, the bus. Oh, I remember like rewatching it after being there, and it was like jarring because they filmed a lot of it on campus, but not all of it. Some of it was like at a different college, but like a lot of it was like, then the girls get all dressed up and wait in line and wait for like the final club thing, and then they do the final club thing, and it was like, oh, this is like awful to watch because it is kind of true, and it's like, ugh. But whatever, you live and you learn. But interesting that it's all subconscious too. Like it's like weird what we internalize because it's just like playing on our TV.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I think one of my favorite movies that like really inspired me and probably affected my life in some way was like Legally Blonde.
Ooh,
like,
yeah,
I just loved Elwood's. Yeah, I'm like, if I could be friends with anyone in the world, like I think Reese's character Elle is just like, I think she's amazing. And when I was waitlisted for Harvard, I was like, I can get off the waitlist because Elwood's gone to Harvard. So I was like, I'm just gonna Elwood's it. But I think movies do like really like I think inspire people, like affect your like perception of things. And she was so like different, like going into like Harvard. wearing pink and stuff, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, so like you can be different and still be like accepted and be happy, be successful.
You literally were like, oh, I should go to Harvard now. What's under Harvard?
Yeah, I wanted to go to school in California, but then when I didn't get into the schools in California, I was like,
Time to go east.
So, yeah, time to go east.
Time to go east to Harvard. I love the makeover sequence in that show because it's the reverse. Like, you know how she gets all serious, and then she had her like poofy pen, and then now she has a laptop. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
It's like
it's just like such an iconic movie.
Yeah,
like I love that one, and I think growing up it was Disney Channel, Legally Blonde, and Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada, an amazing movie.
Oh my gosh! And now I like just sometimes like some people are like, I don't watch that movie because we're in fashion. And I'm like, no, like I'm not really in fashion.
Do fashion people not like that movie?
Or like. I think sometimes I don't want to watch it because it reminds them of their world.
Oh, okay.
I've heard
sometimes,
at least from some people because I'm like, do you
Holding
like this movie? And I think like when I first was like meeting mentors and just people in the industry, I'm like, oh my gosh, did you watch Devil Wears Prada? And they're like I don't think people ask them that question.
Sure, yeah.
They're like, yes, I love it. Or they're like, oh my gosh, no, like we don't want to watch that. It's too real or something.
Oh, yeah. It's like holding up a mirror to their life and they're like, oh God.
But I just think it's so interesting, the acting and everything. And the outfits are still so timeless. I really like them still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is fun to see her when she goes through her transformation and then she like is wearing heels and she's like coming to work and they have all the different like cuts of her different outfits and like other people and stuff and it's like, oh, is that how people live?
Yeah, I think I was like, that was my only, I think like thing I actually like watched that like made me think, oh, like fashion's cool and interesting and like seems like magical and mysterious and then
totally.
Yeah, that was it. And then I was like, maybe one day I'll like want to do something in that.
Yeah, and you did. I mean, it's just like such a. I think there's also like a funny Twitter debate or something that, or like, you hear a lot of people trashing her boyfriend in the movie because it's like so funny how much of a dud he is.
Yeah, I found this one like someone sent me this one like meme and I like forget what it is, but it's kind of like, I think like I could never put a finger on like why I didn't like her boyfriend in the thing, but I think it was like because he just didn't support her like goals and dreams.
Not
and like
in the least.
Yeah, and it was like kind of like guilt tripping her for being a bad girlfriend, which I think she like totally felt the whole time. And I'm like,
right,
like I get it. Like sometimes like, you know, she maybe could have, you know, been there more, but I also at the same time I'm like, she has a crazy job and like she wants this job. She's not like forced into it. She's like willingly doing it, and you could tell she like felt bad when she missed his birthday and stuff. And then he was just like,
the way he describes things is so funny. I feel like of course you're totally right. It's like it was the birthday thing, and then the fact that like her friends were upset when she took like a call at night. It's like, don't you guys have jobs? You gotta take a call sometimes.
Yeah, like I think like everyone was like, holding like Anne Hathaway to like such a high standard, and I was like, she's doing her best.
Yeah, she has a hard job. She's been there for like less than a year. You know, it's still new. Even though, she probably complains about it, so you want her to be happy, but it's like, literally let her live her life. She's accomplished. Yeah, so funny. He was a dud. But those are two great movies on top of the Disney Channel. Love the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Were you a big, like, Wizards of Waverly Place? Or
I loved Wizards of Waverly Place, yes. I think that was my favorite. And then, I don't know, I used to love, like, the Xenon movies because I was like, as a kid, I was like, maybe I want to be an astronaut. And maybe Xenon inspired me to do that because I did an intern at NASA. I don't know if that's because of Xenon.
Yeah.
Casual. At least the idea.
You're like, maybe I should work in NASA.
Xenon did it. She did some stuff, so I should consider it.
Amazing.
Was yours favorite? Like also,
Wizards? So I think that was probably towards the tail end of when I was like probably too old to be watching Disney Channel, you know. But I got cable late, so I got cable probably when I was like 16 or something. So then I kind of was like, oh my god, everything that everybody's been talking about this whole time, but I haven't had access to. So I would like start watching a lot of Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, like kind of into my 16, 17, you know, like kind of like late, which when people probably aren't watching it at that age, you know, because they're too cool by that age. But I wasn't too cool, so, you know, I liked Hannah Montana.
I did like it too, and I remember Selena Gomez made like an appearance in it.
Yeah, she was Michaela.
Yeah. I just like, I do know my Disney Channel facts.
Yeah,
like,
good,
I love Disney Channel.
Do you have Disney Plus? Because I know they have all the Disney Channel.
I need to get it. I just feel like I need to. So,
you know, it'll be there. It won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's Oh yeah, what
That's
else?
a Raven. Did you have?
Oh yeah,
I
loved
liked
that
one.
Raven.
It was so great. And then it was
She's
funny
great.
because remember Alexa from stand-up comedy, Alexa Caban?
Oh yeah,
So good. Yeah.
Was she in it or something?
No, but it's funny because her mom is named Donna Caban. And remember there was Donna Cabana, the character.
Oh yeah.
Everyone thought that was Alexa's mom, like
That's-
during her childhood when they all watched.
They were
That's
like,
So
wait, your
Raven."
mom's on. That's
Yeah,
Raven.
is that like inspired by your mom? And she's like, no.
No, like why would we change her name just slightly?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a good. And then there's now like a reboot of it. So I've worked on shows that have had that.
Because you're
have had
doing
Raven.
Disney Plus things.
Sure,
right?
yeah. So I worked on a Disney Plus show that's not out yet, but that's a Raven. Raven Simone was a guest on it, and then she was a guest on another show I worked on. And so I'm always like, I think out of everybody, I'm like the most starstruck by her because I just grew up. I feel like I grew up with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even when I didn't have cable, they would sometimes play some That's a Raven episodes on regular TV, and I would watch that on like Saturdays or something. So it was kind of like always in the background. Lizzie McGuire, I guess, was another big one. Yeah. And they're rebooting that. Oh yeah, Phil the Future.
I used to watch I was just honestly didn't do anything else with my life except go home and watch.
No
Disney
need.
Channel
I know. I
every day
mean,
for,
everybody loves
10 years.
Yeah, everyone loves it. You gotta put the work in so that you can have the facts, Disney Channel facts.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow.
I know, but Disney Channel has gone downhill, I hear, or
Oh
something.
really?
Well, my sister started watching Dog with a Blog, which apparently I shouldn't say anything about it because I have not seen it. But I just was what is that? And it's just a dog that has a blog apparently.
Well,
where,
I mean, it's
talks
in the title, I believe.
Yeah, but apparently I think I once was Disney Channel has gone downhill. There's this show, Dog with a Blog, and then someone was like, but that show is so good. I think one of our Shiffon volunteer interns was that show's so good, and I was like, okay, I guess I won't say anything about it because maybe it's really good, and I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, the title's a little hokey, but I guess maybe it's a good show. They tend to
but I just
know
feel
how
you're
to pick
missing out if they
talent.
didn't see Wizards or Lizzie McGuire.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, I think the era that we watch is always going to feel like, the best. Those are the golden era. But then some people would be like, oh, you didn't watch, I don't know, Boy Meets World. Was that a big thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it was Disney Channel, but not positive. Anything, I guess, you want to plug? Obviously Shiffon, but, feel free to tell the folks where they can find you. Instagram, since you're posting more than 3 times a year now.
Yeah, I know. So strange. But actually, Saad convinced me.
Oh, yes. Everybody.
He's so good at Instagram, by the way. He's just sometimes he's not candid at all, but he's candid. And Saad, you jumped into a tree to take
yeah. I can't be candid if you had a tripod.
But that's his aesthetic. I think he goes for very extra, but very polished.
Oh yeah, and it's great content. I remember. So his Taj Mahal picture.
Oh my god, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, Saad, you were traveling alone. How did you get this perfect picture in front of the Taj Mahal? Did you bring a photographer? What happened? And so basically, he said he sets all the settings up on his camera and asks strangers.
Just press the button. He does that with me too. He's like, Shilpa, all you have to do is press the button. I remember once we bought ice cream, and he wanted a picture of his ice cream, in front of Newbury Street. And then I had my ice cream and took the picture. And then by the time the picture was done, my ice cream had just melted.
Yeah,
and his was starting to melt.
Oh no, yeah. It's not about the ice cream. It's about the picture.
Yeah.
Right. Don't enjoy it. You have to just capture the moment. And post.
But no. So my Instagram is, I guess it's here.
Oh yeah.
It's so funny because people always think it sounds like Shilpa.
Shilpa.
They're like, oh my gosh, Shilpa. And I'm like, yeah. Well, my Instagram is my name and my last initial.
Right.
Shilpa. But I guess people call it Shilpa. So
Shilpa. So,
Shilpa. You can follow Shilpa.
Oh yeah.
And Shiffon Co, which is spelled SHI. It's the fabric, but with an S. So Shiffon Co on Instagram to follow along with our pinky rings and our journey.
See it on everybody at the Oscars tonight. Well, I guess
maybe not everybody, but I hope that we find some amazing
everybody,
people.
yeah.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
It sounds like it'll be a ton of people. And then I guess I never asked why Shiffon? It's a beautiful name. I just
Oh
did
yeah.
You have a reason?
Well, I was thinking, do you want the honest story, and then do you want the
Okay, yeah, I would love either, whatever story you want to tell.
We're trying to think of names, and honestly, I was this is the only one I remember the next day. Cool. And my mom's favorite fabric is chiffon material, so we put it on our list of names. Because when you think of a name for a company, it's not like you just had one name as your idea. You have to brainstorm. So that kind of stuck with us, and I think for SEO, we wanted it to not be spelled like the fabric.
Right. Yeah,
But there was a breed of puppies called Shiffon too. So like that was really hard at the beginning when we started the company, because you Googled it and it was all these like pictures of like puppies, and people were like, "Are you sure your company is called Shiffon?"
Right. Puppies.
So yeah, but I think, but it's like has like been, you know, the name for a while, and I think as we started like developing what the brand was, like we stuck with the name, we didn't change it, because sometimes companies like in the early stages might change their names a couple times before they launch.
Right.
But it kind of sounds like the shift is on, and I think like Shiffon is really like a movement for women. And that's so that's like I think what's really exciting, and we have like our like digital like blog called The Shift, and it's like we really kind of want to see a shift in like industries and like a rise of women. So
the shift is on with Shiffon. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. I see. Yeah, so Shiffon Co. Instagram, I guess, website that you built. So,
Shiffonco.com.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Shilpa.
Of course.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.